It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. Hello, everyone. I had someone ask me recently, what do you do when Scrum just isn't enough? And I think that's a great question. Sometimes I look at Scrum and I don't look at it necessarily as an incomplete process. I look at it as a malleable framework. And when people say to me that Scrum isn't enough, I ask them to assess which pieces are missing. Now, what's interesting is in some cases, I get a pretty good list. I get a list of things that people really believe they can improve on and that, Scrum kind of overlooked. In other cases, I get people who start to get down so far into the minutia that they start micromanaging details of what they're trying to do. And it really is concerning when you hear people who are so focused on outcome and so driven by lines of code or driven by what is needed to be built. I mean, I can go on for days here that they are lost in the weeds and they don't actually get to do the things that are impactful for the organization or impactful for the stakeholders. So I guess my question is, what do you do when Scrum isn't enough? Let's answer it. So the first thing I would do is I would start by doing a grow analysis. Now, for those of you who haven't heard me do this before, I'll share with you now. Grow would be, what's the goal? What's the goal that we're trying to achieve? And where are we trying to take this? What is our goal? What is our direction? And let's make sure that it's in line with Scrum values and with Agile values, and that what we're doing makes sense. Next, I would ask myself, what's the reality? How far away are we from achieving that goal? How big is the chasm that we have to cross? Next, I would ask myself, what options or opportunities do we have? And then what will we commit to do today to complete the cycle of grow? And I think that if we look at the options or opportunities and they make sense, then they could be in addition to our regular Scrum framework, built around it or built to support it or lift it up. Most organizations that I go to are not using pure Scrum. Most organizations that I go to are doing some type of hybridized model that allows them to pick all the best pieces from other frameworks and accolade that around their Scrum framework, which I find works very, very well. So the question is, if Scrum's not enough, then what? Well, that answer is pretty easy for me. If Scrum's not enough, then it's time for us to reassess and say, what is enough? Now, what's interesting is that when people have gone through this exercise, there have been times where people have come back with the answer of scaled agile framework or with disciplined agile delivery, both of which are excellent in their own rights. But at the same time, is it too much? Is it too robust? Is it too over the top? And I think that we just need to reconsider those things as well. Not saying that one is bad or one is good, but saying that we need to make certain that we're not in a situation where we are trying to lock in so hard with what we're trying to do that we're not going to be successful because we're so embedded in the details. This is one of the places where I find disciplined agile delivery really got it right. They talk about choosing your way of working and aligning yourself in such a way that you can figure out what works best for you and your organization. Now, many people look at that and say it's kind of hokey because, well, you can just choose as you go. It's kind of like choose your own adventure, right? But I don't know that that was the intent. I think the intent was that we could work together to really build a strong Scrum foundation and then build around that foundation with other principles and practices based on the type of product or service that we're building, which is what most organizations are trying to do anyway. So my challenge for you today is to find a way to buoy up not just what you're currently doing and locking into a specific set of rules or ideologies, but to figure out what's going to work best for your organization and build it on top of that Scrum framework so that you can end up having an answer to the question. Because the truth is, sometimes Scrum isn't enough, but sometimes it is. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, if you have a topic you want us to cover, feel free to reach out to us at learnmore@agiledad.com. We'd love to hear about your topic. And we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.